A tragic scene unfolded Sunday in Grand Blanc, Michigan. A 40-year-old man rammed his vehicle into a church building, opened fire on worshipers with an assault rifle, and then set the building ablaze. At least 2 people are dead and 8 others injured, according to Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renye. The attack happened during a large Sunday service at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, just 50 miles north of Detroit. Authorities have identified the suspect as Thomas Jacob Sanford, age 40, from nearby Burton, Michigan. Police say Sanford deliberately drove his pickup truck through the church doors, opened fire on worshipers, and then set the building on fire. 7 victims are currently in stable condition, and 1 remains in critical condition.
I bring all these folks up here on stage today because we couldn't do this as a community without everyone who's standing up here today. We got with me on stage U.S. Attorney Jerome Gorgon, Acting Special Agent in charge of the FBI Reuben Gleeman, Special Agent in charge of the ATF James Deere, Grand Blanc Township Supervisor Scott Bennett, Grand Blanc Township Fire Chief Gent, Genesee County Sheriff's Department Sheriff Chris Swanson, and MSP Michigan State Police Captain Greg Marenko. I'm going to provide an update from the incident that we spoke about earlier today that occurred at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at 10:25 a.m. I want to talk about our officer's response. That call came out at 10:25 a.m. and 32 seconds. We had officers on scene at 10:25 and 57 seconds. The suspect, again, we're in the preliminary stages right now, was neutralized at 10:33:44 in the parking lot of that church. That suspect is a 40-year-old male from the city of Burton, who we identified as Thomas Jacob Sanford. That's Thomas Jacob Sanford, Sanford. Currently where we're at, an update, I gave you 10 victims who were victims of gunshot. Since then, we have 2 victims who are now deceased. One had died at a local hospital. And again, that suspect is deceased as well. 7 other victims at this time are in stable condition. 1 is in critical condition. Now, for the reunification, I had a question earlier about, hey, where can people call to see if their loved one is okay at the reunification center? I want to provide a number for you for that. It's 248-705-7352. Also, I know that our community is hurting right now, and we want to provide some resources for our community moving forward. At the Genesis Athletic Club in Grand Blanc for Monday and Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., we will have services for the community. From Wednesday to Friday, those services will be available to our community at the Grand Blanc Senior Center.
2 police officers pursued the suspect outside the church. After an exchange of gunfire, Sanford was shot and killed. Police believe he acted alone. Authorities also believe Sanford deliberately set the blaze that engulfed the church. Smoke and flames poured from the building for hours before firefighters got it under control. The motive behind this deadly attack is still unknown. Investigators are now searching Sanford's home for answers.
He drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church. Officers who were trained immediately responded to the area. One was a DNR officer, and then one was a Grand Blanc Township officer, where they met the suspect and they engaged in gunfire with that particular individual, neutralizing that suspect. And that suspect is no longer with us. As I said, it is a 40-year-old male from Burton. During all this incident as well, there was a fire that occurred, and we believe that was deliberately set by the suspect. We do believe that we will find additional victims once we have that scene secure. That fire was just extinguished by the Grand Blanc Township Fire Department within the past hour. We're going to do search warrants on the suspect's residence. We're going to find out if there was a motive. We're going to go through cell phone records, things like that. We had the FBI, they're devoting 100 agents to this area because, as you can imagine, there's a lot of witnesses that were within the church, and that is a lot of witness information, statements that we have to obtain.
The tragedy comes as church members were already mourning the death of Russell M. Nelson, the 101-year-old president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who passed away just the night before. A tragic scene unfolded Sunday in Grand.
Stable condition. At the
alone. Authorities also believe Sanford deliberately set the blaze that engulfed the church. Smoke and flames poured from the building for hours before firefighters got it under control. The motive behind this deadly attack is still unknown. Investigators are now searching Sanford's home for answers.
He drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church. Officers who were trained immediately responded to the area. One was a DNR officer, and then one was a Grand Blanc Township officer, where they met the suspect and they engaged in gunfire with that particular individual, neutralizing that suspect. And that suspect is no longer with us. As I said, it is a 40-year-old male from Burton. During all this incident as well, there was a fire that occurred, and we believe that was deliberately set by the suspect. We do believe that we will find additional victims once we have that scene secure. That fire was just extinguished by the Grand Blanc Township Fire Department within the past hour. We're going to do search warrants on the suspect's residence. We're going to find out if there was a motive. We're going to go through cell phone records, things like that. We had the FBI, they're devoting 100 agents to this area because, as you can imagine, there's a lot of witnesses that were within the church, and that is a lot of witness information, statements that we have to obtain.
The tragedy comes as church members were already mourning the death of Russell M. Nelson, the 101-year-old president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who passed away just the night before. Church officials released a statement saying, "Places of worship are meant to be sanctuaries of peace and prayer, and they are praying for all victims and their families." The community of Grand Blanc is in shock tonight, struggling to make sense of this violence inside a place meant for worship and healing.
Good morning. This is Morning Sky. I'm your host, Sky. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page. The suspect in yesterday's arson and mass shooting, Thomas Jacob Sanford, was a Marine. Not only was he if he was alive, he still would have been titled as was a Marine, an ex-Marine, a former Marine. That's the time when you call somebody an ex-Marine or former Marine. When they do something heinous and evil and wrong and terrible, you're no longer a Marine. Go back to Charles Whitman. He was the Texas Tower sniper. He killed multiple people. He was trained in the United States Marine Corps. You have to go to Lee Harvey Oswald, trained in the United States Marine Corps. Assassinated the President of the United States of America. You have to go to this case right now. I mean, there's multiple cases throughout the years of Marines doing terrible things. I myself am a Marine, if you haven't noticed yet. I am proud of my service, proud of my time. It was honorably discharged, get retirement pay, get compensation, I should say. Very fortunate, very, very proud of, I have pride in it. I'm prideful and I'm proud of my service. And then people say that pride is a deadly sin, and okay, that's cute. Pride is the queen, is the crown of all virtues, as Aristotle said. So there has to be a distinction, because people are going to say that all the time. Oh, he's ex-Marine. No, he's ex-Marine. Well, yeah, he's ex-Marine now. Even if he was caught, he would be an ex-Marine. Because ex-Marines don't do this. Marines safeguard values and rights. We protect and defend. We ensure that there's peace in the world through our fighting. It sounds like an oxymoron or ironic, but it's the truth. That's why people say peace through strength. It's just a reality. All right, let me see if I can find another video. Looking for it right now. He was 40 years old. He was in the Marine Corps from June 2004 to June 2008. He achieved the rank of sergeant. He was deployed to Iraq for a brief amount of time, for a stint. He didn't get radicalized, as other people like to say. Oh, he was radicalized. He became this monster.
A 40-year-old suspect from Burton. He's a male. He drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church. 10 gunshot victims have been transported to local hospitals at this time.
So they're going to say the same thing over and over again, I think. So I'm just going to run my mouth. I think I can talk. Yeah, it's a lot, because we're coming up on the 250th birthday celebration of the United States Marine Corps on 10 November of this year, 2025. It'll be 250 years since this ragtag group of drunks and crazy people got together in a bar and said, we should do something with this Navy. We're not really, I mean, they're asking us to be, marksmen and to protect the ships and stuff. Why don't we start our own little part of it? I mean, we beat the Department of the Marines. This is me. I'm just making this up. I don't think this exactly happened, but they're just like, yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds pretty good. That sounds like a good idea. I think we should do that. And so their birth, the Marine Corps. We have heroes. The number one Marine of all time, I think, is, of course, Louis Burrell Chesty Puller. He earned at least 5 Navy crosses. That's the second highest honor you can possibly be bestowed upon you, besides the Medal of Honor. He had other, different medals to fit on his chest. So I'm thinking about chest candy because that's the first thing that came to mind. It's called chest candy, but it's also called something else. Oh yeah, your stack. That's right. Yeah, it's a stack. Your stack of awards and decorations. So he had a lot on his chest. He was a major general, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of people ask, like, well, officers, Marines? Of course, officers are Marines. They're still Marines. They go through a different process, of course, than enlisted. And there's obviously a larger amount of enlisted Marines than there are officers, just like any other branch. But yeah. So you have people that are famous. You have Adam Driver. He's a famous actor. You had the late great R. Lee Ermey, Rock and Power. You have two recipients of the Medal of Honor, and one is currently a reserve, Dakota Meyer. He's a Marine. He earned the Medal of Honor, and he said, you know what, civilian life, it's all right, but let me get back in here. He's in the reserves right now, which could mean he could be turned active at any point. And that's another thing too. You're three things. You're either three other things. You're either active, reserve, well, maybe four, retired, or an ex-Marine or a former Marine. That's the point I'm trying to say. Because it's usually bandied about. It's not even like as malicious, I don't think. It's just ignorance. It's just they're not sure. And even people in the Marine Corps, I think even Marines will say, "Oh, but most Marines will not say it. But they'll say, because if you're a former Marine, that means you did something like what this guy Thomas Jacob Sanford did. That's a former Marine. That's an ex-Marine. That's just the fact of reality. But you have Chris Carpenter. He has a Medal of Honor. I don't know what I think he's doing, speaking fees and stuff like that, and going around the country touting, the benefits of being in the Marine Corps and stuff like that. I think that's what his main mission is. He lost an eye. No, actually, I hate to say that. An eye was taken from him during combat. Dakota Meyer, he went and retrieved or saved, I think, 20 to 30 people. You don't get this honor just because you have to have some serious issues ahead of you, and you can overcome them. And they're still alive. That's pretty amazing. We have two living Marine Medal of Honor recipients. That's extraordinary. Leifys and Feppeldeman. Let's talk male chest paws. He's the man who brings you the latest news of hurricanes, killers, squirrels, and hippos. Let's get it. He's this giant, great, not late Skylar Saunders seed. Thank you, Sir Rick James. I appreciate it, sir. Now, if you could just bring in 12,000 people, that'd be really great. It's a totally different way of looking at things. It's like you come into the Marine Corps, everything that comes down upon you. You have everything. There's probably things you don't even realize, like your life expectancy is probably shorter, your divorce rate is higher, your overall pay is lower. All these different factors come in, but you become a Marine anyway because you do it for your selfish benefit anyway. If it's for money, if it's for protecting a nation, make sure it's selfish. Make sure it's of yourself. Now I'm going to get a whole lot of hate mail from that. Oh my God, you can't be so. Please don't get me started. When you walk into that recruiter's office, they're like, "Hey man, yeah, you get on this, you get a job, you get it." And then when you get to boot camp, selfless sacrifice and unselfishness and all that nonsense. You weren't saying that when I was in the recruiter's chair. Now I was paying close attention. They weren't saying a whole lot. So this morning I just want to make a distinction between what a Marine is and what an ex-Marine is. This is an ex-Marine, a 40-year-old loser who victimized and brutalized people and set fire to a church. So Marines are, the tip of the spear. We're the first to go in, last to go out, on most occasions. I'm, so overwhelmed at the fact that I'm actually a United States Marine. I think that's like the epitome of not service, not selflessness, but complete and utter recognition of a great nation, a nation that has to be defended, a nation that deserves to be defended, even in our depleted state. We're not make America great again. When was America great? That's what I want to know. Pinpoint an exact time period where America was great. America was always great. When has it great again? It's as long as there's a Constitution and a Declaration of Independence, America will always be great, no matter what. As long as those two are in place. No matter how many people attack the Constitution, override it, and people disclaim the Declaration, doesn't matter. So this Sanford person, he probably just wanted to die. He just wanted to get killed. He got into a gunfight with the cops and they shot him. Shot him dead, as they should have. As they should have. And it just gets to a point where you have to say, this is an ex-Marine. He's an ex-Marine, former Marine, no longer Marine. Not because he's dead, but because of the actions he displayed. There are plenty of Marines that are dead. I said Chesty Puller. He's one of them. He's in the one of the hold on, let me make sure I got his name right. Frank Emmanuel Peterson Jr., the first general in the United States Marine Corps. He retired as a lieutenant general. He was the first black general and the first black Marine Corps aviator. He died not too long ago, 2015. He only died about a decade ago. So he's a Marine. He's dead now, but he's a Marine. The Montford Point Marines, they're Marines. Unless one of them did something stupid, like hold up a convenience store or something like that, then you're not a Marine anymore. You forfeited your title. You forfeited it based on your actions. And I could get into people that didn't get. He may have gotten an honorable discharge. I don't know. They didn't give the information on that. I didn't see any anyway. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can get a dishonorable discharge if you do something after you get out of the service. I think a judge advocate general will have to determine whether you're eligible for benefits and paying bennies beyond your active duty or your reservist duty in the Corps. It's very very touch and go. It's a strange situation to be in, because the Marines have a reputation, and it goes back probably since its inception. The toughest, meanest, mightiest, strongest, smartest. Maybe not the smartest. No, I'm kidding. No, we like crayon. We eat crayons. That's the joke that goes around the branches. Marines are crayon eaters. Like, I never understood it, but I kind of get it now. It's just dumping on each other. It's just sibling rivalry, really. So that's all I say anyway. The enemy doesn't give a goddamn whether you got Marine, Coast Guard, Air Force, Army, Navy, Space Force. They don't care. They say they see the U.S. and they want you dead. They don't give a damn. That's a fact. So we can have our sibling rivalries. Oh, the Navy is and the Air Force is. It doesn't matter. That goes for all the branches too. I mean, branches. You become an airman, or you become a soldier. You become a space. What are they? Guardians? I think they're guardians. You become a Coast Guardsman or Coast Guardswoman. You become a sailor. You retain that title, even though you guys don't tell. You don't say your title like is capital. It make sure people capitalize the M in Marines. Even some outlets, some news outlets don't even capitalize Marines. I don't know where to get that from, but it's got to stop. But anyway, Sanford is a criminal, or was a criminal. He went against the reality of knowing what is true. He did something false. He put it in his mind that he's going to destroy. He was seeking to destroy. He wanted to disrupt. He wanted to take down. He wanted to break apart everything. That's so disastrous about this whole situation, is that he didn't want to sit down with whomever. I don't know. Maybe he had a psychiatrist. I don't know, but he obviously didn't want to live. But instead of saying that I don't want to live, let me take my own life by lethal injection or whatever the case may be, I'm going to go and ram my truck into this church and then shoot up some people and then set the place on fire. That's a Marine. That's what Marines do. Is that what we do? That's how the drill instructor sound. Is that what we do? We take the guns and we shoot up the whole place. Is that what we do? That's not what we do. That's the Marine Corps. United States Marine Corps recruit drill instructors. They have the froggy voice, they call it, because their vocal cords are so spent. They're almost like driven down, almost brought down to a point. I don't know how senior. They must have a different school for senior drill instructors and drill instructors or something, because senior drill instructors maintain the regular voice. I never understood that. I mean, there's probably a few that went from drill instructor to senior drill instructor, but you can't change your voice after it's got changed. Yeah, the RK Junior voice. Yeah, it's a little bit like that. It's got that, but his is kind of weak. Theirs is stronger. It's a different kind of voice because they're yelling. When you're yelling, it's a different kind of timbre. It's a different way of instilling you. Scrape, 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 scrape. You're like, aye, sir, aye, sir, aye, sir. But I'm trying to lighten the mood. I know I'm not trying to make it light of the situation, just the mood. Just give examples of Marines throughout the centuries, throughout the eras. there's just a whole lot of people. There's Molly Marine. There's the first woman Marine, Molly Marine. There's all kinds of different ways to celebrate the United States Marine Corps, and it's just sad because this puts a damper, or this dampens the mood of our, what is this? I don't want to say, I can't remember. 250-year anniversary, 250-year birthday. I mean, we have to look at people saying, "Oh, really? That happened? Yeah, that happened. Yeah." And they look at you cross, and you're like, "Is that what Marines do? Is that how we did that? We shoot from clock towers, and we murder and assassinate presidents, and is that what the Marine Corps is all about?" Obviously not. Obviously, the Marine Corps is stronger than ever. It has met all its recruiting goals. It's definitely as strong as possible. Let me look for something. I'm just looking for a different video. This is a gunny. I'm gonna play this one. Okay, Bob, Robert Nacer coming into the building. Salute to you, sir. Salute. Full respect to the USMC, the USMIC. While the same passion which leads men and women to the armed services also results in higher violent crime rates, the two are not related. What is that? Correlation does not mean causation. Doesn't mean correlation. Exactly. Yes, common causes, but no, not cause and effect. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Bob is smarter than me. Sir Rick James is smarter than myself. Smarter than I. He's smarter than I. They're giving exact examples. I appreciate that. That's an astute observation, Mr. Nacer. Yeah, so that's what it's like. That's what it's like, Bob. It's true. I mean, if this were the case, there would be no Marine Corps. There would be no United States Marine Corps, because that's our sole function. That's part of the function of the government itself, is to protect these great United States. That's all United States Marines are supposed to do. When one of us is fallen, when we fall, they put a American flag over our casket. They don't put the red Marine Corps flag with the eagle, globe, and anchor. They don't put that flag over the coffin or the casket. They put the American flag over the coffin. And they put it in the triangle, and they hand it to the next of kin, and it's a very solemn, service that I've seen on more than one occasion. And of course, it's in Hollywood, it's in the culture at large. But that's the thing that happens with United States Marine Corps. There's a certain level of mystique still available. There's still, you don't know what it is. You like this symbol you're seeing right now. You see that? Eagle, globe, and anchor. If you didn't know any better, you wouldn't know what that was. You know that it's the eagle is a representation of the United States, and in its mouth it doesn't show it, but it says Semper Fidelis or Semper Fi. That means always faithful. And I always said, I'm an atheist, but I said always faithful to ideas, always faithful to reason. It's common. That's more of an oxymoron too. But the whole gist of it, the spirit, the esprit de corps, is about knowing that you are always going to protect this and serve this country. And of course, the globe is in the Western Hemisphere, shows America and South America and Central America. and that just shows the world power, the power, and the might of the Marine Corps forces around the world, also in other areas beyond the Western Hemisphere. And the anchor is, of course, the representation of the naval tradition. So if you didn't know that, now you know that. But thank you, Bob. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you for that. Thank you for your contribution. I'm gonna just play this.
I was almost in disbelief because of like how surreal that moment was, because of how close it was. Because again, it's like it's either me or him. When we got him, like he had a bunch of bullet holes in him. I don't know how many, but just like it was like Swiss cheese. I will say that something that really sticks out to me was the first patrol I went out on. It was a mounted patrol. We were doing a relief in place with 1-9. Since I was a 249 gunner, saw gunner, they put me in the lead Vic in the turret. On the first patrol I went out on, we went down this road called Route Dusters. And I remember looking at every little crack in the ground, every little rock, and thinking like, there's no way I'm making it through this deployment. No possible way. I remember consciously thinking, I'm going to die a United States Marine, and that's okay. I mean, my experience with combat most of the time was specifically the Taliban would use unconventional tactics. They're very hardened, tactically sound warriors that you have to respect. The first day that I physically saw somebody, like sight picture, sight alignment, like hostile act, hostile intent, positive identification, hit all the wickets. And I was, surreal would be the word. I'm like looking over my sights of the 249 and I see one guy up on a roof, like in the prone, then like 2 or 3 more just running around in between the compounds. One of them made this really stupid decision to just come out up onto the road. And then, probably me, my team leader, we probably all hit that guy. And then he fell down, got back up, fell down again, and rolled into the canal. That was my most profound experience of that deployment for sure. I hope that the Marine Corps ultimately becomes so insanely lethal that we have peace through strength, where nobody wants to deal with us because they're afraid. There's no enemy in this world that can go toe-to-toe with the Marine Corps. When the full force of the Marine Corps comes down, I pity those people.
As you saw that, you even see where Mattis is. Mattis, he wasn't one of the best leaders under Trump's cabinet, but he had some good lines. He had a line that he said, well, I disagree with you, Rick James. Rick James says the Marines today, like this gay boy, are too soft-spoken. They need to man up. He sounds like he's being about to cry. Start crying. So you start crying doesn't mean you're less of a man. You just cry. There's nothing wrong with that. Just because you're soft-spoken, he's obviously a warrior. Could slay any dragon that anybody could throw at him. And that's another thing I want to say. I'll say about about Mattis. Mattis was one of the leaders under the first administration with Trump, and he had a line. He said, a reporter asked him, let me see if I get this right. Hopefully I can get this right. How how do you sleep at night or something? I could be chopping it up, but it was like, how do you sleep at night knowing that there are America's enemies around us or something? He's like, it's not about me sleeping at night. It's about me keeping that other guy up at night or something like that. You know, so along those lines. He was just saying, in essence, that he isn't worried about the enemy. The enemy should be worried about him. That's the whole point. But I think, well, you know, with the continuation of the core, the reason why it is the core is because there's so much to gain. There's so much truth in being a Marine. I disagree with you, sir. Never cried a day in my life. Okay, I got you, Rick James. I don't believe you for a second, sir. I don't believe you for half a second. Yeah, so I'm just trying to show you how how the culture of the Marine Corps has always been rough, tough, gruff, and up to stuff. We Marines don't play around. And that's another thing too. We guard this country. That's true. And it's worth guarding. That's very true. But it's also a selfish thing. It's not about self-sacrifice and unselfishness and sacrifice and selflessness. It's about you, it's about you being in the recruiter's chair. They're telling you all the content. You'll get a job, you'll get a paycheck, you'll get free health care, you'll get all these goodies and bennies. You need to go recruit training, and it's like, well, you have to sacrifice. Well, you have to be selfless. Well, you don't even have a name anymore. You're a recruit so and so, you don't have a first name anymore. You're lumped in with everybody else. You have to fall in line. It's like, okay, that was like a bit of a whirlwind, but I'm glad I had Ayn Rand before I got into the Marine Corps. Some people, it's a totally different. Experiences may vary. That's one of the key tenets we repeat, is that experiences may vary in the Marine Corps, and that goes across every body, really, every person in the world. Your experience is going to vary no matter what. But the thing is, it's always during the indoctrination phases that everything is the same. Everything, you're wearing the same clothes, you're taking the same haircuts, you're getting the same showers, you're going the same manuals when you're on the range. Everything is regimented, so it's like everything is exactly the same. Then when you get to the Marine fleet, after combat training and your MOS school, you become a fleet Marine force Marine. You're live. It's like a live grenade. It's like, that's real. It's like, not even, you could be deployed and something could happen to you. Your Humvee could be blown up. Something happened. I don't think they even use Humvees anymore. I think they use MRAPs now. Really, those are vehicles that can sustain IED or improvised explosive device blasts. It's a very interesting vehicle. It has a V shape underneath because it blows the blast outward instead of upward. So that was a key piece of engineering and design that went into those vehicles, and they cost like, I don't know, what are they, like $2 million or something like that, $3 million a piece, something like that. I can't remember how much the MRAPs cost, but they're pretty sturdy, and they cost a significant amount of money. So it's sheesh. Just thinking about this whole matter is kind of rough, because it's like, that's the thing that comes to people's minds, like, well, there's the Marines again. I mean, here we go, another Marine. Allegedly, he was on drugs, prescription drugs. Allegedly, I don't know. Maybe he was. I'm just saying, like, well, he get off his meds and he went in. He couldn't deal with existence anymore, so he had to take other people's existence. Like, it's just really sad. It's really sad. So, I'm gonna play that video in a minute, but I just wanted to make that clear. Sanford is what I keep on saying was an ex-Marine. He was a former Marine. I am a Marine, and I will be to the day I die. Because I'm not going to shoot up a school or a synagogue or a church or a theater or a concert or a nightclub or anything like that. I'm not going to strap something to my chest and blow up a whole square. It's just we have to really take all into account. This all has to go into account. Because it's in the back of people's minds. It's like, Marines, yeah. And it's like, Marines, why? Is that what they teach you in the Marine Corps? They teach you how to murder people? They teach you how to burn down churches? And that's the weird thing, too, because that's what happened to Vietnam veterans. Hey, baby killer. Hey, who's the baby killer? When, in what war, were there not babies being slaughtered? You can't name me. I want somebody to name me one war where women and children and babies and innocent people that were quote unquote innocent people were not slaughtered. Just name one. I would love to. I don't think you can. I can't. I can't name one war. All these different designations and things, it's all emotional. It's not about thought. Sadly, it's not about thinking. It's an anti-intellectualism that pervades our culture. Rick James says lots of babies I had my fair share. So what are you saying, Rick James? Are you saying you killed a lot of babies and you had your fair share of babies? I mean, just facts. It's just facts. I'm gonna play the video.
It's March 11th, 2020. General Berger, the Marine Corps' top general at the time, is speaking before Congress. His message:
we are clearly not built for where we think we will need to be 6, 7, 8, 9 years into the future. We must pursue urgent change at a significant scale.
He's speaking of a plan to modernize the Marine Corps, to mold it to face the problems of the future, a future that is rapidly becoming the present. Technology is advancing faster than ever before, and with it, the way we compete with the threats to our nation and its values. Force Design is a plan to modernize the Marine Corps, to be a leaner, more agile force that integrates back into its naval roots, a lethal expeditionary force contributing to joint all-domain warfare in the littorals. Beyond the boots on the ground, technology has exponentially increased information's effect on the modern battlefield, making our need to exploit data more important than ever. And for that, new key players are emerging with the ability to change the organizational culture, to focus on using the power of information to create advantages in any domain.
I firmly believe the Corps is on the right path under Force Design.
We're implementing that plan now, with continuous learning to bring our naval expeditionary force into the future, to deter our adversaries and secure peace, stability, and freedom for our nation and for a better world.
Marines, let me begin by saying thank you. People have always been and will remain our decisive advantage. But people enabled by data and technology are critical to winning our next fight. No matter the climb or place, no matter the domain. Our youngest generation of warfighters will bear the responsibility of knowing how to fix bayonets and charge into the center of the enemy, while also integrating emerging technologies, such as generative AI, machine learning, and quantum computing. All of you play a role in that integration. We have momentum now, but we cannot overstate the importance of maintaining that momentum in resolving the challenges of a constantly evolving, technologically driven security landscape. Like all Marines before, you continue to rise above and accept the call for action, and your work has not gone unnoticed. We look forward to the future as part of a Naval Expeditionary Force at the cutting edge of how to sense and make sense of the challenges posed by our nation's foes. We look forward to integrating data and technological solutions that will enable us to fight with speed and precision from all domains. And we look forward to combining human talent and advanced processes to become even more lethal in support of the joint force and our allies and partners. We must continue to take every opportunity to collaborate with each other, with industry, and with academia. The challenges will not stop, but the solutions are out there, and we need to find them. Our Marines and sailors are counting on you. Good luck, and Semper Fidelis.
So you heard the message from Commandant General Smith. Or is it General Commandant? I don't know. Or is it just Commandant? Commandant Smith. I think that's the proper way. I'm not sure how to pronounce it properly. My dumb ass. But that's the way that the United States Marine Corps functions. We do not go off of feeling and emotion. We go off of reason and purpose. We go off of rationality and independence. That's the thought of the Marine Corps. This John Sanford, or was it Jake? I will always forget his name. His name doesn't really matter, but I just want to make sure I get his name right. Thomas Jacob Sanford. Excuse me, Thomas Jacob Sanford. He forfeited it. That's it. That's all there is to it. He forfeited his role as a Marine. Now they're going to treat this probably how if you remember a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, there was the guy that shot up the offices in New York City, and he was claiming that he had CTE. He was looking for the NFL offices or something like that. And they're probably gonna think the same thing with this. Is, he had PTSD. He was out of he didn't have his proper medication or whatever the case may have been. Those are no excuses. None. They're not. That's why you get treatment. That's why you get therapy. That's why you get as much attention as possible. That's the reason why I think that people are so quote unquote. This might be a technical term, but messed up. People are so messed up because of the fact that they don't seek or they refuse medical, psychological treatment to aid them with whatever ails them. So they say, I'm going to get a high-powered rifle and just shoot up this school or this theater or these offices, or because I have CTE and it's a problem. Oh my God, that's not how you do it. He had PTSD. Thomas Jacob Sanford. I don't know why. It's always it's three words, three names. Thomas Jacob Sanford. Thomas Jacob Sanford. So he either didn't seek out help or he was completely too lost. He may have sustained some kind of injury. He may or may not have. They didn't give a lot of information yet. That hasn't been divulged as of this moment. But it could come out like that. Who knows? I think that we're living in an era where we're afraid. I mean, I'm looking at the documentary. I didn't even see it all the way, but from Boys to Men, they're talking about how we really encouraged our girls, and they're got to go to school and got to get a career and everything like that, and they did really well. But then they're like, oh yeah, we forgot about the boys. We didn't really raise them to be like hard chargers and strong. We raised them to be kind of soft-willed in their mind and not really focused on intellectual pursuits or pursuits of the military or anything like that, or business or anything like that. It just goes on to a point where they show themselves to be lacking and lagging behind. and it's because of our school system. I'm preaching now. I'm preaching. Our government school system is the worst system probably on the planet. Now, this is the weird thing. There are certain people that go through the public or the government school system and excel and do very well, and that's always great. But it's in spite of the fact that the government school system is in place. And of course, there's private schools, usually ecumenical or parochial establishments. They fare probably well and probably better than most government schools. I knew people in government school that went to Yale, were brilliant. They went to Yale and stuff like that. And that was awesome. And then they went to University of Delaware. University of Delaware it's a pretty good school. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's a pretty good school. It's a very good school. And depending on what you do, and depending on what you study, you can really excel in your life. You become a doctor under a lot of programs at University of Delaware. And DSU ain't nothing but niggas. Nothing but niggas. DSU, they may have 6 white people on campus total. I don't know. I'm just messing with them. I'm just throwing it around. But yes, Thomas Jacob Sanford is going to his name is going to ring bells for a lot of reasons. I hope they do an autopsy. I hope they do a study on his brain, study on what happened to him in Iraq. I want to know. I would love to know. I would love to know. All right, let me get my banners together. First one, Dot Focus. Visit Dot Focus on his YouTube channel and subscribe, like, and comment. If you enjoy Call of Duty and other first-person shooters, you will not be disappointed. Tell him that Silly Sky sent you. Make sure you check this guy out. He's also a rapper. He makes songs. One is KAT, Kill All. I had the T. I know this. Hold on. Temptation. Kill All Temptation. Excuse me. I had to remember. Kill All Temptation. Dot Focus. DOTFOCUS _. Also, LifeStrongApparel.com for your raw sea moss needs. Also, after you're making your selections, type in Skyler20, SKYLER20 as a promo to receive 20% off your purchases. Pretty big dent. Tell Mr. Pang Silly Sky sent you. He's one of my friends. We go back over almost 20 years now, over 20 years now. So I appreciate his standing on business. He's a businessman no matter what. He's a CEO. So I respect him. Also, go to Beha Jackson's YouTube page and subscribe to learn about sardines on the grill, fried chicken, near beer, and female strippers. Tell him Silly Sky sent you in the comments. So this guy was he was a child actor. He was in the monumental film Boys in the Hood. He played Doughboy's childhood self, the Ice Cube character. He's his childhood character. And he's just a really great guy. He always pays me on time, so I appreciate it. But he has a really great sense of humor, and he's just a good guy. I never met him in personal life, but on these digital, in this digital atmosphere, I've met him. So he's pretty good. He's good money. And of course, salute to Holly Carenti. Holly, let me see if I can make this even better. Holly. Z Therapy on YouTube for all your Zumba needs. Subscribe to Holly Carenti. She is a friend of mine. She's good people. She knows what she's doing with this Zumba stuff. She's a great dancer, great instructor. I can't say enough good things about Holly. Holly is a great person, a genuine soul, Italian. Got that Italian fire in her. So she's good people, you know. You have to, once you get to know her, I've known her for over a decade. So it's good to know she's good company. Make sure, you know, tell that to Silly. I didn't write it, but Silly Guy Sky Saunders and we were like neck and neck with subscribers. I kind of pulled away. I kind of got in the head of her and the subscribers count. But she's good money. She's good. She's a very good person. And of course, I have to promote myself. Subscribe to youtube.com/@SKYSAUNDERS. Shameless self promotion, because not promoting yourself is shameful. Remember that. Oh, you're just promoting yourself. That's shameless. And if I don't promote myself, that's shameful. That's as simple as that. So just want to make that clear. Okay, so we've been over an hour right now. I'm gonna see how far I can go. Let me see. Wild show today. Every show is wild to Rick James. I'm seeing if there's I'm looking for it. Yeah, because this is interesting, because I mean, this PTSD. That's the thing that's so, you know, radical and weird. The Obama White House, is that's long though. I don't know. The Obama White House, is that a private organization or is that a news organization? I don't even know. Let me see. This account will be maintained by National Archives and Records Administration. Will serve as an archive of Obama administration content. Okay, so this is good. This is the government. This is for fair use. This has got to be for fair use.
If you would, please pray with me. Almighty God, we pause to acknowledge your grace, which has brought us to this momentous day. We confirm by this ceremony that in accordance with your divine guidance, our forebears established a nation rooted in the ideals of courage and virtue. We now yield to your direction for this country, even as we bestow its highest honors on Sergeant Dakota Meyer, who himself sacrificed to defend its most cherished values. God, hear our gratitude for your honing Sergeant Meyer's character through the loving support of his family, as well as countless mentors and friends. Know of our thankfulness for emboldening this Marine's spirit, so that when called on to preserve the safety and dignity of his comrades, he was able to find it within himself to demonstrate the valor and intrepidity of his character. God, for his selflessness and courage revealed that day in Kunar province, this nation is indeed exceedingly grateful. We ask now that you would touch his humble spirit, that he would know that as the nation's highest award is draped around his neck, you encircle him with the depth of your love, acknowledging not only him, but those Marines and sailors who were so much a part of his actions on that fateful day. Speak to him in the privacy of his heart and assure him that as his actions are honored, you equally recognize those who demonstrated their willingness to sacrifice everything in order to uphold the ideals we honor this day. With that in mind, we pray your abiding grace on the families and friends of the Marines, sailors, soldiers, airmen, and Coast Guardsmen who have given their lives in service to this country. and we lift up in prayer all those who remain in harm's way throughout the globe. Now bestow your wisdom on those who lead this nation and shape her endeavors. Guide them and each of us by the example of these our heroes who loved country more than self, mercy more than life. God, bless America. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Now here we go. How many times did she say sacrifice? How many times did she say self before country? Excuse me, country before self. How many times? I counted 3. She said sacrifice. She said sacrifice and country before self. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. This is weird to me anyway. How is there prayer in a government setting? This is all government. The president's civilian government. Dakota Meyer, he's enlisted government into the United States Marine Corps. I think she's in the Navy. The person that just gave the prayer. Not knocking prayer as it, qua prayer. I'm knocking the idea behind prayer. You're not talking to anything, any deity. There's no deity that exists for you to be communing with through speech. Dakota Miner is interesting. He had a injury. He was bitten by a they call them camel spiders. They're actually, that's just a colloquial name for them. But they're these huge looking they're not insects. They're they look like spiders. They have these long legs and they bite you. He was bitten. His hand had swollen up. But I'm gonna see how many different things he had when he was awarded this.
Thank you, everybody. Please be seated. Thank you, Chaplain Kibben. Good afternoon, everyone. And on behalf of Michelle and myself, welcome to the White House. It's been said that where there is a brave man in the thickest of the fight, there is the post of honor. Today, we pay tribute to an American who placed himself in the thick of the fight again and again and again. In so doing, he has earned our nation's highest military decoration, the Medal of Honor. And we are extraordinarily proud of Sergeant Dakota Meyer. Today is only the 3rd time during the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq that a recipient of the Medal of Honor has been able to accept it in person. And we are honored to be joined by one of the other 2 recipients, Sergeant First Class Leroy Petrie, who is here. I would point out something else. Of all the Medal of Honor recipients in recent decades, Dakota is also one of the youngest. He's 23 years old, and he performed the extraordinary actions for which he is being recognized today when he was just 21 years old. Despite all this, I have to say Dakota is one of the most down-to-earth guys that you will ever meet. In fact, when my staff first tried to arrange the phone call so I could have told him that I'd approved this medal, Dakota was at work at his new civilian job on a construction site. He felt he couldn't take the call right then because he said, if I don't work, I don't get paid. So we arranged to make sure he got the call during his lunch break. I told him the news, and then he went right back to work. That's the kind of guy he is. He also asked to have a beer with me, which we were able to execute yesterday. And Dakota's the kind of guy who gets the job done. And I do appreciate, Dakota, you taking my call.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. See if there's another one. Let me see. There might be. Is this Biden? Who is it? Also, let me see. It was Obama did both. Obama did both. Damn. The Heritage Foundation. Is that I don't know if that's I, I don't know if that's if that's fair use.
Because
Yeah,
I wanted
I'll just
to
change
devote my life, my body, if need be, to something greater than myself or any one individual. In 2010, I deployed with 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines to Marja, Afghanistan. We were constantly attacked, just like we were every single day for the entire deployment. The fighting was very intense, and it wasn't a matter of, okay, is it going to happen, but just a matter of when. Myself and an amazing friend and fellow Marine, Lance Corporal Nick Eufrazio, we were on top of that roof together. We were near the end of our 4-hour post position on top of the roof when the enemy initiated a daylight attack with hand grenades. I felt like I got hit really hard in the face. My vision was as if I was looking at a TV with no connection. It was just white and gray static. I thought about my family and how devastated they were going to be, especially my mother, that I didn't make it home from Afghanistan. And I closed my eyes and I faded out of consciousness for what I thought was going to be my last time on this earth.
See, this is where it gets, sticky, because it's like it's a combination, it's a confluence of ideals, of the sacrifice, the selflessness, the unselfishness. Then you layer that with the ideals of nationalism, of patriotism, of different things like that. And that kind of goes into another layer and another layer. And then you put on the top stupid wars. Stupid wars. Iraq was a stupid war. Afghanistan was a stupid war. They were not well thought out. I don't understand how it must be like some kind of like a dissidence that goes on in the minds of the leaders of this nation, the leaders throughout the generations, from George W. Bush to Obama to Biden. Well, excuse me, George W. Bush. I skipped over, who else? But Obama to Trump to Biden, and then Trump again. But it's been going on like that for decades before either of these figures. They just represent the latest in it. But it's mainly George W. Bush that got us in stupid wars. Afghanistan could kind of be considered an okay. That was, they had people holed up in mountaintops in Afghanistan, but to last for over 20 years, I mean, that's ridiculous. That's not even ridiculous. That's abhorrent. That's vicious to me. I think that's evil. And Iraq had nothing to do with anything American, and they changed the names of the different wars. I think that one was called Infinite Justice, and they thought like, oh well, we can't call it Infinite Justice because that might go against the other sides of principles, or whatever the case of men. And it's called the Iraq War. It's called the Vietnam War. It's not, it's Iraqi freedom, not American freedom, but Iraqi freedom. Operation Iraqi Freedom, OIF. That compounds things. That leads people to come home, get into alcohol, get into drugs, just completely destroy their living and their lifestyles and their life. and then they go into to AA and NA and turn themselves around and become counselors and get 6-figure incomes. I mean, it's a weird thing. I've said this before. It's a weird situation. It's a very strange situation because that's good, but did you have to drink and drug before you got to that position? Couldn't you just gotten your degree and went on and made those 6 figures without doing all that? Isn't that possible? I have my utmost sympathy and respect for the people that want to make their lives better. I do. That's fact. I've been around them. I've been around. Are they called halfway houses? I don't even know if they're called that anymore. But they're like houses that you pay like $400, $300 rent. It's taken out of your check, and you're working at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center, and you're just trying to get into the swing of things, as they say. You're trying to back into the groove of having a job and working and doing things like that. I'm fortunate enough to be compensated very, very, very well, considering I make as much as a second lieutenant or a staff sergeant or a gunnery sergeant makes, about that much a month. If you look up those pay scales, you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. Tax free, of course. Thank you very much. But I'm all about being selfish. I'm all about a country having selfish values, not sacrificing. What was it like? I think it was 4,000 people, men, women, kids. Kids mainly, slaughtered in Iraq. Tens of thousands more injured. I think there were about 2,000 that were killed or 1,000 to 2,000 killed in Afghanistan, slaughtered. All because of selflessness, unselfishness, and sacrifice. They should have died for their own freedom, their own selfish freedom, their own selfish liberty, their family's selfish liberty, their values. Not for me, not for anybody else, but for themselves. And when you have a Thomas Jacob Sanford, going from being a Marine, being clean cut, got a nice, cut on his face, short hair, everything, and then go on to have, shaggy, dirty beard and catching fish or something like that, and tactical gear, and it just throws you for a loop in a way. It throws you for a loop because he didn't have to do this. He didn't have to do this. You just saw. You just saw 2 examples: Dakota Meyer and Kyle. I always want to say Chris. Kyle Carpenter. I knew I was going to slip up. Kyle Carpenter. Both Medal of Honor recipients living today, right now. You usually don't get the Medal of Honor until you are dead. You're no longer alive. That's when it is most crucial. So it's incumbent upon us to remember that Thomas Jacob Sanford was an ex-Marine. He is no longer a Marine. He's no longer considered to be a Marine. That's just the facts. Let's see if I can play another video. Look for one right now. This is what actually helped me get into the Marine Corps.
For a moment, they know the training's begun and that life as they know it is pretty much over.
It was the most disorienting thing I think I've ever done in my life. It's not like the boot camp experience at Parris Island with the yellow footprints on the ground, standing there in the dark. But in its own way, it's every bit as disorienting.
Pick it up now! Let's go! Why is there so much trash still on his neck? Pick it up now!
I mean, all of a sudden, what you did in high school and college and family and work history, none of that matters.
Quick!
You know, they shave your head and everybody's the same. I was thinking, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? I should be lifeguarding this summer.
Open him up. I gotta show him up. Louder. Yes, go to Sergeant! Don't look at me! Yes, go to Sergeant!
Nothing compares to seeing a Marine drill instructor in your face telling you what they are demanding of you.
It ain't no daggone story. It's us, not Sergeant. They move. I'm Sergeant.
It's someone who they are absolutely intimidated by and they don't know what to do about it. So they really don't know how to react to this.
Hurry up! Say something! Hurry up! Why do you have so much stuff? Look at him! Look at you! There's a freaking problem here. Do you understand me? I got it, Sergeant! Hurry up!
You're too good to help somebody. You're too good.
You can't need help.
You might want to help yourself now. You might want to help yourself now.
They were the most rabid, high-intensity group of people I'd ever met in my life to that point.
Get it! Go now! I got it, Sergeant! Well, why are you still here? Go! I got it, Sergeant! No, hurry up! Get moving now! Get moving!
And that was it. It was on, and it stayed on for the next 10 weeks.
Let's go! Louder! Hurry up! Go! Oh, way to go, candidate! Way to go! Drop all your trash all over my parade. Hurry up and start up back! No, say something! I got you, Sergeant! You are the last one, candidate! You're the last one! The platoon is going to wait on you because you want to trash for trash. Hurry up! I got the trash still behind you.
They really, I guess, start to realize this is for real.
Keep taking our time. Let's go. Tape. I got it started. Let's go.
And that to become one of us, you're going to have to go through probably the hardest thing you've ever done in your life.
That's your trash. Go. See, the platoon's leaving already. I got it. It's leaving already. Run!
We're starting to put them into a period of friction and chaos. How they deal with failure, how they deal with distress.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
OCS is not officer boot camp. OCS is a selection process.
Go.
Here, the Marine Corps evaluates and decides whether officer candidates have what it takes to be a leader.
Whereas on the recruit depot, they're actually molding Marines, they're making Marines. Our mission here is a little bit different. We screen for the potential to lead Marines. Eventually, a lot of these guys and women, they're going to be leading us. That ups the ante a little bit more.
Every Marine that comes here must first prove that they can lead Marines in a ground combat situation. Here, we detect the leadership. We see that they have the bias for action, the creative thinking, the aggressive personality that'll allow them to take charge, and they want to take charge.
About a third of the officer candidates don't make it through OCS. Some for physical reasons.
Some push-ups, you got a fireman's carry.
Others receive unsatisfactory evaluations.
Go. Yes,
And a third group that again sets OCS apart from boot camp, those who are dropped on request.
See, you don't have to be, part of the team. You can just drop out. I don't think you can do that in the Marine Corps recruit training of enlisted potential Marines. So that's a different way of looking at it. But all I'm doing today is just showing you, the different ways that these are anomalies. These are outliers. I know those are used interchangeably and they're not the same exact thing, but still bear with me. The Charles Whitmans, the Lee Harvey Oswalds, the Thomas Jacob Sanfords, they are just huge points, humongous dots on the board, but there's like too many tiny little dots that make up what Marine Corps is supposed to be. But these are the huge dots. Oh, look, you have Charles Whitman. Oh, you have Lee Harvey Oswald. Oh, you have Thomas Jacob Sanford. That's what we go by. It's a sad reality. It seems like that must be like this. It must be a Marine thing. Marines shoot up places and assassinate presidents and shoot up churches and and set them on fire, yeah, that's supposed to be a Marine kind of thing. Not at all, not even close. And I think most of the public knows that through either Hollywood, through reading in the newspaper, through all kinds of different parts of the media, through family and friends. Look at me. I mean, I don't have a high-powered rifle, and I'm not ready to run up in somebody's establishment just because I have some kind of issues with my mind. It's not disclosed yet, but I'm just imagining, they're going to say, well, he had bouts of depression, and he was drinking, and he was drugging, and he got in with the wrong crowd, and he didn't do well with anything in his job. He couldn't excel anymore. I don't know. Continue the video.
At any time after the 4th week of training, if a candidate determines that this is not a lifestyle he can deal with, that this is too much of a commitment to them, that they don't want the responsibility of what they're learning here, then they can just quit, just give up.
OCS has an open door policy. At any given time, you can quit and walk out. And that ensures that at the end, you have only people who really, truly want to be there.
If they drop on request, they are finished. They do not get a second chance. There's no do-over in the Marine Corps. Quitting becomes endemic. You quit once, you'll quit again. And we can't tolerate that with our Marines. If they're not ready for that complete dedication, then they have no place among us.
You have to focus on the task at hand. And the consequences for screwing up are really, really high.
Let's go, hurry up.
He has no magazine.
No! Drop his magazine.
Just take go find his magazine, sir. Yeah, where's your magazine? How you gonna fire the rest of the damn course?
How about that? All right, sir. How about that? Go, hurry up.
This is serious business for us. And a nation at war says they are facing going to war, leading Marines and being responsible for 43 lives. And quite frankly, that's a burden that some of them were not ready to take on.
Put this ammo on your leg. Okay. Is it secure?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me know if it starts shaking.
Yeah. Shake it. All right. Oh, no. Oh.
This is serious business, kids. We have a nation to protect. That's worth protecting. It's a selfish thing. It's not nationalism. It may not even be patriotism, even though that's what the closest thing I can think of it as. Defending a great nation, the United States of America. Very, very important stuff, very significant things, very serious, very solemn task to ask somebody to do. And if they're willing and able to do it. That's why I was scared about the draft. The draft is creepy. Because that's like anybody. And that's why this is what happened with the whole burning the draft cards and stuff like that, That's really creepy. Let me see if I can find this.
Mark Boyle is following the latest for us right now at the live desk. Mark, we know police were quickly there on the scene. Crews right now still searching through that debris for possibly more victims. That building, partially collapsed in that fire.
You can see why it partially collapsed. Jan, looking at the video here behind me, it was a massive fire. That thick black smoke could be seen for miles. The FBI is on the ground this morning as they work with local leaders to piece all this together. Here's the newest information right now on the victims and the suspect. In terms of the suspect who was killed in the shootout with police, is pictured there, Thomas Sanford. 10:25 a.m. is that timestamp right here. He drove his truck into the church really early on in this. There were lots of people inside at the time. He got out of the truck, started firing, and used gas to start that fire, so we know that. He also had an explosive device in the area in the truck. It wasn't clear if that was detonated or not. Meantime, investigators say there are more victims that could be found later today when they're sifting through all of that.
The entire church has not been cleared because it's a total loss due to the fire. So these first responders right now, they're in recovery mode. They're trying to fight through all the debris from the fire.
At least 2 bodies were recovered inside the church by firefighters, and police there say that more people could be found because they don't have the exact head count, the specific number of folks who were at church yesterday morning. Meantime, today, detectives are at the home of the suspect they say served in the Marines from June 2004 through 2008. He had also been deployed to Iraq for 7 months and currently lived nearby in Burton, which is just a few minutes down the street from where that church is located. We're following the story for you, updates all morning here at the Live Desk.
I'm telling you, this is wild. This is wild stuff. So what they're gonna have to say that. They're gonna have to say PTSD. He got into drinking. He may have done recreational drugs. Bumba saying that he's a gravy seal, and that the shooter looks like White Drewski. Trying to lighten the mood, I guess. It's a wild, wild life. But I was just trying to give you guys examples of who Marines really are, the representatives, the super representatives. I know they weren't everyday Marines. Everyday Marine. I'm an everyday Marine. I wasn't that great. I obviously didn't earn a Medal of Honor or anything like that. I didn't even have a chance to. But Dakota Mile and Kyle Carpenter are some of the, 2 of the bravest, smartest, ablest men in the United States Marine Corps history. Like, their names will forever be etched in the halls of academia at various war colleges. The United States Marine Corps Museum, the OCS, Annapolis, all kinds of places. So that's what's so beautiful about that. That's what's so great. He did not. Thomas Jacob Sanford did not do anything to distinguish himself. He didn't have any connection to bravery or any honorable thing. I don't know if that's another question. Did he have an honorable discharge? Did he have an other honorable discharge? Did he have a bad conduct discharge? Did he have, what was his discharge status? That's going to come out in the next few days and weeks and months. It's really sad. It really is it's a shame that another Marine that became an ex-Marine and then either was killed when all you had to do was just go to a therapist, go, get a dog, get somebody, get some kind of help. And if all else fails, ask for assisted suicide. That's my advocacy. That's what I'm going to start to, maybe I have to start a 501c3 called Kentucky, or, Kentucky's abbreviation is KY. So that's like kill yourself. I mean, it's not going to be, I'm kind of being facetious now, but I'm serious in a way, because I'd rather somebody kill themselves than kill other people that have nothing to do with your problems. These people had nothing to do with them. Nothing. They didn't do it. Even if they did have something to do with them, well, they should have been prosecuted and charged and prosecuted. And that would have been it, or sued or something like that. It's heavy. It's really heavy. And just to think how many people are going to go. I always call this duck, duck, goose. I've been saying this forever. Duck, it's is it Wisconsin? Is it Maryland? Is it Vermont? Is it it's Washington State. Yes. Okay. Washington State is the next one. Like, that's what happened here. It was like, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Michigan. No, Michigan is, it's like, who knows? It's going to happen. Like the game of duck, duck, goose. Somebody's going to be the goose. Nobody has the whole time saying duck, 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 duck. Nobody. There's always a goose. There's always a goose. And Michigan, sadly, is the goose right now. Just like with whack-a-mole dictators. You knock down one dictator, 4 more pop up. You knock down another dictator, 3 more pop up. It just... In what way we live now. In what era. What times. And then they argue, it's because we're not putting church, prayer back in school and stuff like that. We're not putting enough. Well, they went to the exact place where prayers are always lifted up. There's like 10 trillion prayers that are prayed every hour or something like that. I don't know how many. George Carlin had a joke about that. He was saying how he was like, there's God has to have a full, answering service, to take in all these trillions of prayers he gets every day. But it's just true. It's just a fact. It's the truth anyhow, as they say. It's the truth anyhow. Might go back to Marines. I'm looking for another video. I'm looking for all these different ones. Still looking for them. These are kind of long. I was looking for I'll go to this one, Marine Week Atlanta.
For the land of the free.
Okay, so I want to make that clear. How Marines really get it in, how we are in bands, we're in we're national honor, national Star Spangled Banner is the national anthem, national anthem of the United States Marine. But what am I talking about? United States Marines can sing the Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem, as well as our Marine Corps hymn. But as you saw in that particular clip, there was a young lady who was a sergeant singing the national anthem. Not what Thomas Jacob Sanford did. It just and look at this. They want to say, people are going to say, well, they train them so hard and they get them indoctrinated in gunfire and they shouldn't be playing with guns. And they didn't, he wasn't. You're not born knowing any of that. He was tabula rasa like everyone else. He went on to go to the United States Marine Corps. They teach you how to shoot on sight. That means on proper, your opposites, your opponents, your ops. That's what that's about. Not shooting innocent men, women, and children, or burning down churches, or assassinating presidents, or killing people on the ground from a tower. And there's so many more. There's many more Marines that have become ex-Marines because of their actions. They either stolen something, or murdered somebody, or raped a woman, raped people, or something crazy like that. It's very, very, very difficult to say that, Marines are, are totally, adrift from morality. That's a hard thing to say because it's so far from the truth. You can't really mouth it. You can't really speak it because it's not real. Our whole core values are honor, courage, and commitment. I would add on to those from Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand had 7 core. She had 3 core values: reason, purpose, and self-esteem. But she had 7 virtues: rationality, independence, integrity, honesty, justice, productiveness, and pride. So I'll just tack on the 3 and make it top 10: honor, courage, and commitment. That's just me, though. That's just me. I'm not trying to rearrange Miss Rand's ideas or anything, or trying to tack on just to tack on. But I became a Marine, and I was like, you know what? That's pretty true. And I think Dr. Jerome Brook had a question about that. He was asking, somebody asked if there could be more virtues like honor, courage, and commitment, or stability, or whatever the case may be. You can add on to yours, but you can't really add on to hers. Hers are definite and finite, and objectives. You can make it a list of 1,200 virtues, or how many virtues there are. That's on you, but you can't change her words because she is no longer here to even defend them. But her works defend themselves. But yeah. So Thomas Jacob Sanford is a low point, not for America, not for the United States Marine Corps, but for himself. This is what selfishness means: taking responsibility for your own actions. Now, he was killed in the melee, I guess you can call it. But he earned his role as an ex-Marine and a former Marine by not being able to control himself, to condone himself as a proper human being, much less a United States Marine and an American. That's the sick, twisted reality of all this. And people are saying, the rapture is coming, or the rapture passed, or something like that. More mysticism, more mystical ideals. just to make that plain, Sanford had, he had the opportunity to increase his life, to make your life better. That's what happened to me. I went to the United States Marine Corps, came out. Life is great. Life is wonderful. I had to fight a little bit, not in war, but legally. But I eventually won, and I'm leading a great life. I'm living my best life. This shouldn't even been the news story. They should have been talking about whatever the Cowboys were going to do and the Packers. And ain't that some stuff? What happened to them? A 40-40 draw? Really? That's the mob right there, kids. That's the mafia. That's the mafia playing games with the games. A 40-40 draw. It's another reason why I like basketball so much. You're not going to get too many draws out of basketball. Somebody's going to win. You can get a draw out of NHL. You can get a draw out of MLB. You can get a draw out of NFL. But you're not going to get a draw out. You're going to draw definitely out of MLS. You're not going to get a draw out of the NBA. It's not going to happen. I think it happened like one time in like 1946 or something stupid. But I digress. I know. What do we know about this Sanford guy? He was in Iraq 7 months. And in those 7 months, what happened? Did he get spooked? Did he get scared? Did he drop his rifle? What happened? Did he serve honorably or dishonorably? I wonder if so Sanford will go down in history as another ex-Marine, somebody that could have been, a man who could have been, a male who could have been, and didn't know it. There's a man who could have been and knew it. It's like in The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. There's the man who never was and will never be and knows it. There's a man that could have been and doesn't know it. And the man that could have been and knows it. And the man that is. That makes up the Fountainhead. Sanford is a example of someone who rejected and renounced all the principles that he was instilled in the United States Marine Corps. I don't care. I'm a complete selfish person. I'm a rational person. I'm a reasoned selfish. The Corps does a lot of things that are wrong. It goes against a lot of my core principles and values. But it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of an analogy or something like that, but it's kind of like being, I guess, to be used as a Marine, to be submerged in water, you can only breathe if you have scuba gear. You got to hold your nose. Okay, so I'm trying to make this analogy make sense. You know what you're going into. You either you know what you're doing when you're underwater or you don't. And that's the kind of thing that happens. Like, you're already in the water. You're already in the Marine Corps. So you have to, know what to do. You have to understand it. You have to understand the parameters that are in line with whatever training you're doing. I hope that analogy helped. Maybe it didn't, but it helped me. I understand what I'm saying. You may not get it. Hopefully you will get it, but that's how I see it. It's like, you get, you have all these different things around you. You're swimming in so many different currents and different waters, and you just have to, know how to stay afloat, stay above water. Keep your head above water. Keep swimming and trying to find, the land again. What I think, Sanford, and there's going to be, there may be copycats, there may be, people. Who else is going to be? Who is going to, like I said, Duck, Duck, Go, or not Duck, Duck, Goose. I'm doing an ad right now. Duck, Duck, Goose. Who's going to be next? Arizona, Tennessee, Utah, has a lot of attention. Oh no, it's Maine. Maine was the one. Not trying to wish that upon Maine. I'm just saying Sanford looks crazy as hell. Yes, he does. He does look crazy as hell. He's got that nasty beard. He's got the big, mustache, and he's got the tactical gear on, for hunting and fishing and stuff like that. He looks crazy, but that doesn't make him crazy. It's just that he went off the rails. He can have the nasty beard and the mustache and the tactical gear and stuff like that. That's fine. Looks like a serial killer. Well, Ted Bundy looked like a suave, kind of cool looking guy, clean cut. Didn't have any, too many problems with him. A lot of women were after him. He was killing them. So he was a serial killer. So you can't really say he looks like a serial killer, because serial killers look a lot different. John Wayne Gacy, he was a clown. He dressed up as a clown. Bumba. Bumba Clot. Yeah, Gacy. Yeah. Did I say something different? I said John Wayne Gacy, right? What did I say? Are you saying Gacy? Okay, I got you. Serial killers don't really exist anymore. Well, we'll see what happens in Houston. It's a question mark whether it's a serial killer in Houston and the bayous. It's a question mark. Don't know for sure yet. But that's true, Mama. It has plummeted, the notion of a serial killer, because of Ring and drones and smartphones and stuff like that, and people being prepared with self-defense courses and pepper spray and stuff like that. Dean Corll is a crazy Houston serial killer. Dean Corll was a black man, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I covered him. I may have covered him, but I can't remember. I know Dean Corll. Yeah, I heard of Dean Corll before. But this is just like I'm not even gonna say it's a black eye for the Marine Corps. Oh no, he was a white gay guy. Oh, you know what? You're right. Dean Corll. Yeah, you're right. Dean Corll. Yeah, and he had like and the Candyman. Yeah. He was doing something crazy. Yeah, I do remember that. Dean Corll. Yeah. I do remember that. But this isn't a black eye for the Marine Corps. This is not even a sustained wound in any way. He inspired Gacy. Okay. But this isn't in any way something to be concerned about for the Marine Corps. This is something to be concerned about for our nation as a whole, and what we do with people that come back from wars, stupid wars at that, wars that we should have never been in, wars we should have never engaged in at all. That's the main thing. I was just listening on the radio. It was a young female. She was like, Yeah, after I got out of the service, I started drinking. I'm like, oh my God. It's like I don't get that. That's something that I just don't understand. I used to drink, and drinking is cool, and that wasn't like, oh, I need another drink, another drink. I need, washed. I need like people say in their head, millions of people going to AA and having these different issues and stuff like that. That's not gonna be me. I can drink. I can handle my liquor. I can do what I want. Then they start hitting, and it's like, uh-oh, now I'm in trouble. I don't know what else to do. I have sympathy for these people. I have sympathy for them. Sympathy. But they have to realize that it's a battle with the bottle, and it's serious. It's a classic thing. It's like Forrest Gump, even with Lieutenant Dan Taylor. He was wounded, severely wounded. Has his legs amputated. I'm hoping I'm not spoiling it for anybody. I don't think I'm spoiling it for anybody, but he went on and drank, and grew his hair long, and everything was all that, and then he turned his life around, and he was all together. That's usually the case. That's what I'm saying. It's like you got to hit rock bottom sometimes. You got to get knocked down and say you can get up. That's just the reality I've noticed. All right, I'd like to thank everybody that came through. Was it Rick James, Bumba, and of course Bob, Mr. Robert Nacer. Thank you very much for coming through, and I will see you sometime tomorrow in the morning. Take care.